guys. Cheers, guys. Like I love village people. Village people, they give me life, guys. I'm a village person, so I know.
Yeah, so it's the contribution to the economy, which is very important. You know, it's very important that we have got South African brands. We've got African brands instead of having so much of our stuff exported from out there and coming in here. So if we have got our own, we're actually going to have this economic hotspot here, and then everything works out for us. So it's very important.
I think what the reason why, and people, I think someone even thinks I'm like a brand ambassador of Spotlight. Like everyone will be like, dude, if you're not tweeting about it, you're on Instagram about it, on Facebook, and I'm like, the reason why I believe in your product, it's what you've just said, like creating black businesses, but beyond anything, I mean, you've seen the stats around the unemployment in South Africa. There's no one coming to save us.
And now with Corona, have you seen how they've just been rising?
Retrenching, guys, they're retrenching. People are losing jobs, and for me, the conversation is going to how are we also like channeling the entrepreneurship model, particularly in like townships and villages. Because what I want to see is that I'm starting to think like big corporations are not here to save us. They're not going to come and employ us. But Theo is going to start a business, you know, and she's going to make sure that before she employs like, other people, but she's going to make sure that she gets people that are going to produce quality products. And those are people like from home, you know what I'm saying? Because they've seen you put in the effort of the product. And now we are like, we come from Akota Masintumore, you know, where like a lot of young people are actually unemployed, and you have graduates that are coming home and they're just sitting at home, you know,
with skills.
Some
people are good at welding, some people are good at talking like us, but like, you know, everyone's got a talent, and I think
So I think also just it being, or like, instead of just saying the employment is important, you know, creating business means you're gonna employ someone. But I remember sitting, I think it was the year I was inducted into the Anzisha Prize. Fred Swanika was speaking, and he said that all it takes to ignite the entrepreneurship spark in someone is just meeting or knowing another entrepreneur. So I think even in the village, you know, when other kids hear that there's a lot of kids from my village and from West End that always reach out to me that, and they're starting, they've got such great ideas. Do you understand? Like it's like crazy ideas, like, you know, they can just take the world by storm. But just because they've read an article about me, they feel like, okay, this can come to life. So that igniting that spark of entrepreneurship also means it's not just Spotless that is going to be employing 10 people, but it's just going to be the entrepreneurship spark ignited in 50 other people, and those are businesses in the future, and that's more jobs, and that's, you know, so that I think that's also very important.
I like that. I see a bigger picture of Spotless. Yeah, guys, we are selling Spotless, ne? We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. Find us, even on the comments. You can leave a comment and ask, where do we get Spotless? Because we are all using Spotless, guys. I literally have come up with a method. She knows. I buy Spotless for my mom, for my grandmother. My mother's influencing. I told her, when you go to the stock fairs, when you go to the whatever, to the church, we use Spotless. If it means you carry it in your bag, that's what we do. Because I like your model of how you're selling. I want you to just share a bit about how you're selling the product. Because I saw a comment the other day where you were sharing about like the struggles of getting into big retail. So yeah, I just want to find out how you're working around that.
Okay, so we distribute in this way. We can't get into your big retails like your ShopRite, Checkers, Pick n Pay, and Spar, because they take products on consignment deals. And what that means is that they take your product and they will only give you money for the product they've sold. They can't guarantee any marketing on their marketing stuff. They can't guarantee you anything. So it means that you just have to give them your product and hope that it sells, and hope that after 60 days you'll get your money. But then how are you going to keep operations going? How are people going to know about your products, you know? So it's just that thing where it looks good to be on ShopRite shelves, but what has it been to the villages? And we sell to the Somali shops, the spaza shops, the independent supermarkets, and they give us money immediately, even if they're taking 2 packs of 6. Then that means when we walk out of that shop, we'll go to their number and we have the money. So next time when they need stock, we just call, do you still have stock? And we'll only go there the next time if we need to. We don't have to go and convince them, because they had a relationship with the product now. And also delivering directly to consumers, because those at the end of the day are the people. For example, Rinae's mom uses Spotless now. If she has run out and she can't get a 6-pack, or Rinae is working away, if she goes to a small supermarket and say, I'm looking for Spotless and it's not there, they're gonna wanna know what is Spotless and how can we get it into our store, you know. So that is also very important. It's very cost ineffective delivering to individuals because they're buying 1 pack, 2 packs. So it means that you're spending a lot of money on fuel, but that is what needs to go into it's marketing as well, because the product. So Rinae is the product. She's using it. She's sharing it with other people. The next time, hopefully, it will be in a shop which can go and get it. So we've also for Joburg, we're only available in 1 big store. We're trying not to get into too many stores at once. Like when we're gonna be selling, let's say for example in Pretoria, we're selling 1 pack to each and every shop. It means we're working at a loss because the petrol price will just be too high. So what we've done right now is that we've partnered with Uhuru Shop and Brands of Africa. So those are 2 online delivery stores that are redistributing spotters. So what happens is that you place an order with them and they just go and deliver to you, and they've been working very efficiently. So I think the biggest thing right now is to make, more than it being on fancy shelves, is to getting it to the people, making sure that it's accessible to people. And that is what we've been doing.
That's dope.
See what I like about this? I was gonna ask you the question I ask everyone, but I feel like you've answered me, man. About how do you envision the future of Africa and the world, and what is your role in it?
I don't know.
But I feel like you've answered it. That's why I'm like, I don't even need to ask it anymore. Yeah, you are a place in which, how do I put it? We're creating something for ourselves, by ourselves. We are the ones that distribute within ourselves. We're creating a network whereby we want quality, benchmark, we move it in, we inspire others, we support others.
But you know what I like?
We just want to take over. Oh, guys, I'm excited.
Yo. You know what I like? I like when you said your niece said, I want to work for Spotless. And how so many kids in the village are like, seeing your articles, hearing you on radio, because I think we underestimate the power of representation, and how when I see a black woman, like right now, seeing Professor Kheti being a VC at UCT, there's something that like sparks that I can lead, not just an institution, but it's the mindset of, for the longest time, black women have not been occupying such spaces, Your niece is so fortunate because she's probably going to write a book about you. She's going to be the one saying, I have an aunt who started a dishwashing liquid, Like when we're talking here, and I mean, you did the whole program with Fred Swanica, and I saw that was one of the pivotal things, I think, for you, because you got exposures from so many other entrepreneurs across Africa, which for me is another thing that I see, that the more we are building businesses in South Africa, there is a mindset of us going into Africa. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there's so much potential in us building products for each other. I envision us traveling across Africa without having to pay so much money. I'm always complaining about, like, it's so easy for me to travel, like, to Thailand, to Bali, to everywhere else. But traveling amongst African states is one of the most difficult things, But when little girls see me and they're like, she went to where and she's traveling. Do you know what that does? Because I've also had, like, a lot of my cousins who are, like, in their late 30s, mid 30s, and they travel a lot. And I remember asking them, like, guys, how do you do it? And they're like, we have stock fails, we have this, and then they took me on a trip. And from there on, I was just like, I'm there, guys. You know what I'm saying? So I really like your thinking. And I think you're one of the most brilliant minds that I know. And I hope and I pray that you surround yourself with, like, people that will always challenge you, but they will also support you. Because I'm thinking now, what are the needs of your business now? Do you need more investment? Are you needing to, like, expand to, even if it's not big retail, are you seeing yourself, like, distributing across Limpopo? Because I'm there on Facebook, I'm like, contact her, she can deliver anywhere in Limpopo. And people are like, Rinae, really? I'm like, I don't even know, but that's where I'm doing it, So,
So we do need investments at the moment. I'm actually in conversations with someone. I think it's really exciting. I've made mistakes by getting into relationships because I was desperate. Do you understand? So I don't want to make decisions in a desperate mind. Because, for example, I have got a very distinct vision for Spotless. And for me, it's not just about making 100,000 rand in a week. Do you understand? So for me, it's about a great quality product that is going to grow into a range that is going to be on all your shelves, you're going to welcome into your homes and you're going to live with it, like you know who.
Yes. The vision is clear.
Yeah, so when you get people who, you're very desperate and you're scraping for money, you get people with a very different vision. I mean, like, you can make a lot of money from Spotless, you understand? Because people they like the product and so if you get someone who just wants money, it gets frustrating for you and they're pressuring you that okay, you can't sell all the stuff that we made the last week in 2 days, so what is happening with my money, type of thing. So I need to make sure that I'm getting into a working relationship with someone who will understand the vision, someone who for them is not just about making money, but it's also about growing this African brand and selling it and a proudly African brand. So I'm in conversations with people, you know, that I don't want to just say, okay, you're giving me a lot of money, so let's do this. So I'm doing my research. I was actually in conversation with so there's this investment board that approached me. So they called me. Sounds very exciting, you know, people are telling me about money over the phone. We can give you. And I was just like, guys, no, I'll like relax, you know. And I'm in conversations with people they've invested in. So one of the guys is telling me that, these people invested in me and they've literally taken over my business. I don't want that. So, you know, it's just one of those things where you sit down and you have no food, but you just like, I'm not going to be jumping at this because I want to make money quickly. You know, the vision is big. You know, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than just me making a decision and saying that I'm going to make money, and it's big. You know, I don't want to make any mistakes, but I'm hoping and praying, and I'll fast on it. That I get the right person for the business. You know, someone who will think, not like me, but who will help us, like, we'll shape the business together and it will go in the direction that it should. You understand? Because more than anything, I believe that everywhere that I've been, God has placed me. And God, the plans for Spotless. You know, I remember when I got the label, I actually came up with the full range. I didn't know what goes in what, but I remember that picture.
I remember that picture.
That's so embarrassing.
You know, I think I'm so attracted to her as a person because you are the epitome of just dreaming big. You know, like go big or go home.
And you know, it's like what you were saying before, man. Education, representation is so important.
Yes.
You see, when people say get education, no, it's not about only getting all these accolades. I got this, I got this, I got this. But you speak very well about when you went to high school, it ignited something different because that's what education should be about. It's not just about knowing about maths. No. It's about creating visions. It must activate something and so.
Definitely.
So I'm just, guys.
Mesmerized.
No, besides mesmerized, you don't realize how impactful. You know, when you say education is powerful or knowledge is power, this is what they're talking about. You get to a spot and when you're introduced to the right people, the right formula, it's fine. I mean, some of us are dreamers, bro. You're also a dreamer. You sometimes come up with an idea and instead you have people, hi, nKateko, why don't you just get a job? Why don't you just get a full-time job? Why don't you get this? Why do you see the need of creating those kind of things?
What is very dangerous is that if you surround yourself with people who keep telling you to just settle, you end up being like that. You know? So I am that one of those people that even if you can just look at my friendships, I don't have friends that I can say I've been friends with this person for the rest of my life. If I feel like you're bringing negative energy, I'll bounce. Like if you say, well, Thiofhi, you've been struggling for 2 years, bro. Why don't you just I'm vibing, like I'm going. So
I think you have friends that what I have with nKateko, where I have the most craziest ideas and she'll call me and she'll tell me, bruh, let's apply for this thing, let's do this, and we're just like, let's do it. The worst that can happen, they will reject us and then we come back next year.
Next year we apply.
You know what I'm saying? And it's I think that's something that we've also learned. I think I tell people a lot that I used to be scared of failure, that when it happened it crippled me for a while, but it taught me, like, listen, there's nothing scary about it. You fail, we fall, then we get up. You know, it's literally one of the best things that have happened. And I think you need to also surround yourself with women that challenge you, particularly women, because I think I'm at a point in my life where even at work, I was telling this other friend of mine, and I was like, I have a work, like, you know how people say I have a work wife or a work husband, you know, and there's this one girl at work, I'm just like, dude, I have this idea. She'll be like, tell me more. And I tell her, she will never say, that idea is not good. Or she'll be like, yeah, do it. You know, but I was thinking, explore it also in this way, you know, and it's so important. Like, nKateko also plays that role for me, that I'll call and be like, dude, I wanna know, who are the people that inspire you?
I really love Wendy Luhave. But I think I'm inspired, I know I'm inspired by my grandmother. So let me give you why I always say that. My grandmother is disabled, so she could never work in the farms like her friends and her peers back in the day. So she started selling things in the house. Like even right now, she still sells things in the house. So she put my mom and 3 of my mom's siblings through university from just selling things in the house because she couldn't walk. And when I grew up with my grandmother. We had a mud house, very basic mud house. And I think she is turning 75. She turned 75 this year. I'm not sure. I forgot. But in the past 3 years, she's built herself a big house. Her kids didn't help her. It's just like she works so hard, and she has everything that she wants. Like she's now installing bathtubs, like these fancy things, and she's always just saying, I like nice things. She likes nice things, and she works for them. My grandmother will never ask anyone for anything. That is just the thing. Like even right now, she sells bottles to some of her Stockful friends. And if she says that she sold 10 packs, when I go to her and say money, it will be money for the 10 packs. She's the most financially responsible person I know. Every night before she goes to bed, because if I'm at home, it means I have to wait for her to finish watching TV so I can help her because she's on crutches to go into her bedroom. I actually have to go and put her bag on the floor. She gets into her bedroom, she sits on the floor, she counts all her money from the day, counts all her stock. She's like a proper businesswoman. She always gives me advice like, how are you selling things when she'll ask me, so how many bottles do you have left? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, girl, how are you running this business? If you don't know how much money you have in terms of stock, she's so wise. She is like my I love her so much, and I don't think if I can just become like her, in everything, in spirit, in soul, and in business, then I'll go far. I really love her.
Yeah. You see, but I think for me this is like such an inspiration because your grandmother basically, I believe that even before you went to Ridgeway,
she was your mentor.
You already like business focused. You know what I'm saying?
So that's fucking me already. I knew it was the vibe.
It was there.
That's what you realize, man. What happens in the home?
Yeah.
It's highly important.
Exactly. It shapes you. But what you said earlier, Mgani, was the fact that when you get the right education and the opportunities, they unleash what's already there. Because I think I have the same sentiment about my grandmother, and it's that thing that unfortunately she didn't go to school, but I always tell people my grandmother's the smartest person I've ever met in my life. But what I know is that had she gone to school and gotten formal education,
go to school either,
exactly. Imagine amazing. That's like a proper.
So do you feel like formal education to some extent like stifles your potential?
I feel like I have a belief that formal education allows you to ignite. You know what I'm saying? There's already something. Potential, it offers you. It accelerates your potential. Because if you look at Theo went to Ridgeway. Ridgeway is like known where we come from. It's one of the most expensive schools, but we also know that they have amazing programs in the school. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I believe that education takes what's already there and it ignites it. It's like makeup. Makeup is not, you're already beautiful. It's just amplifying. It's enhancing. And that for me is the fact that your grandmother is like the pivotal. Because I believe if you decide to write a book one day, your grandmother deserves like 3 chapters. Like she's actually like the one who's defining.
But it also goes back to what you're saying. Representation matters. She wants to be someone who represents something. Exactly. And you were lucky enough to be represented or exposed to something you actually didn't realize at the time was actually just like laying the table for you.
Yeah, and I think what you said about formal education is that what it does is that it's just cements it nicely. Because I always knew that if all fails, if I can't get a job, I can always sell something. I always knew that from when I was a kid. Because that's what my grandmother did. But being meeting people and being in the Andisha part, it's made me think that you can have an actual business and it's not just a survival thing. You can actually start something that will be big, something that will create employment, something that will help advance the economy. Yeah, so I think what knowing people and also reading, it just cements it. You already have the structure, the best structure, but what the formal education does is that it cements it and it makes it look nicer. It makes more sense when you look at it like that. You don't just think of entrepreneurship as I have to eat tomorrow, but you're saying that this is something that I know about the economy now, so this is something that is going to be helping the economy. I know about women empowerment, so it's going to be empowering women. So if it wasn't about that, all those things, I would just run a business so that I can eat. But because I've now been exposed to all those other things, I know that it's also about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is probably the best episode ever.
And really, man, we'd like to thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Time is a precious thing and we don't take it lightly.
It is. But I mean, we know her before. She's like a global icon. Guys, I'm a proper ambassador of Spotless.
And this is just proof that the Republic of Limpopo is not lacking.
Yeah, we have amazing people.
We have amazing people.
And I think one thing that I like about Theo is that I really look forward to us even having you again. But I think one of the things that I would like to see from you is sharing more of what you know what I'm saying, and I through whether it's like those TED Talks type of platforms, as creating a platform like this in Limpopo, in the village, because I've seen, well, we also know each other through this foundation that we're part of at home, and I've seen how passionate she is about like giving back and making other people aware, because she's just that person, so I see you being so pivotal for entrepreneurship, but also young black women, because the more I always take things back to school because I love education. I always just see you go into a school and kids are like, she has a dishwashing liquid, I can do it, and that's when we can also start understanding why kids will love doing science, kids will start doing maths and biology and all this, because I think sometimes education is missing that connecting dot of why am I doing it?
You're just learning about this formula, you're learning about buffers and acids and bases, but you're like, how is this relevant in my life? If you see the products that actually manufacture this, because the engineering of the chemicals that actually
what I'm saying? Because
life is this.
I see Tia going to schools and being like, you know what, guys, I have Spotless, so in the next 10 years or whatever, I would want someone who can actually come up with like whatever one of the ingredients for my thing, and this kids start thinking, oh my gosh, I can come up with that. It's I am a big dreamer, but I'm a big visualizer. I see things and I believe in them, and that's one of the strongest things that I think black women particularly embody. They vision and they see things, and I really want to see you succeed. And I think if anything, guys, we are supporting Spotless.
Thank you.
Spotless, where do
I'm
we
a
find
new customer as well.
Yes.
on Facebook we are Spotless South Africa. On Instagram it's @SpotlessZA, and on Twitter it's my handle, it's @Thiofhi Lambani. I'm gonna have a Spotless one very soon, I promise.
Yes.
And please subscribe. As we told you, we're here to break it down, go through journeys with people in order to what? Bring us closer to ourselves.
Yes. This is amazing, guys. This is Limpopo's very own
finest.
It's here. People, please support it. Theo, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I would hug you, but the time is
yeah, guys. This girl is like so law abiding. Look at how she's eating.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Now it's time for me to wear my mask.
Yes.
And leave. Yeah.
Oh, but guys, that thing. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
You're not doing it the right way.
No. You don't understand the measurements now, because I was supporting family. Look.
Oh, okay.
I died. Thanks, guys. Oh my gosh, guys, are we done? I'm gonna